So Kevin, you mentioned BYU, the independent era. That's really all they've known. They've been an independent for a long, long time. But it seems like, just from us here in Waco, watching it from the outside, that the BYU fans have really embraced this move to the Big 12. They're excited about it. Obviously, it comes up next year. So why now? What makes this situation so unique?
I think in terms of how they got into the Big 12, I think it was out of necessity, to be honest with you. I mean, conference realignment hit, and the Big 12 was looking at who are we going to go to at this point. And I think BYU was a team kind of on the fringes for a really long time of this discussion of conference realignment. Tom Homo talked about, the BYU's athletic director. He talked about how the independence era has been extremely difficult on BYU. They did not want to be an independent, quite frankly, and they've been looking to get out of that situation for a really long time. And it kind of all came together during conference realignment. BYU, obviously the national brand that they have, I think made sense for the Big 12 at that time. There's still a lot of progress to be made for BYU to be fully a Big 12 member, and I think everybody acknowledges that in Provo. But I think the timing just perfectly lined up for BYU. And it'll be interesting to me. I think this is the type of game where it's like, how do you really fit into the landscape of the Big 12? You're going into a conference that's mainly stationed over 1,000 miles away from you. And that's just the truth. And Kalani has talked about, hey, we want to start recruiting Texas. We want to start doing all these things. Well, you're going to have to beat teams like Baylor to do that, and it's always going to be a challenge. So, but in terms of this moment in BYU, it's kind of unique, and I think the table just kind of came together for them all at once.
Yeah, you mentioned, out of necessity. I think that's a great point. In this new sort of age of college football, where it seems like we're trending toward these super conferences, I mean, you kind of want to be in one of those Power 5 mixes, and BYU's been talked about before with the Pac-12. Now the Pac-12 is starting to splinter with USC and UCLA going elsewhere. This is a good fit. I mean, when it happened, when OU and Texas shocked everyone in the Big 12 and left for the SEC, Bob Bowlesby was certainly caught off guard. I felt like the Big 12 did a good job of going out and getting the 4 best available free agents, is what I would call them. And BYU really, to me, was the jewel of that group. I mean, as Kevin said, a program that's had a lot of success as an independent, but looking for a home, and it's a good marriage.
And another thing too, I think it always helps in conference realignment to be successful right before this all happens, right?
Yeah.
Coming off of the 10-win season last year, and then you followed up with a 10-win season in 2021. But I think that's something that Kalani Sitake talked about, is like, that, if we have a 4-win year and then, you're looking at a 5-win season, which they've had in the independence era, like, is it the same discussion? Maybe, yeah, but maybe not, right?
Right. No, I think that's a great point. In fact, it's been kind of interesting to watch fans from the Big 12 already sort of like claim the new schools. Like, look at them, they're winning. Look at Cincy, they're winning. So the fact that BYU has done well, I think everybody's like taking a little pride in it. They're like, yeah, they're one of us now. So good stuff.